Yep. Excellent. Yep. Oh well. Welcome in. Well, we're about to start in just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Looks like we've got some people coming in, so it might be time to play the music. Thank you for choosing the Rogue Planet.
Mayday! Come in! If anyone can hear me, my starship has been pulled into the anomaly. I find myself in a strange new world. It is a world with no sun, no stars. It is a world of anime. Comics. Here we go! Gaming. Movie. This world is the
Planets.
with your host, the Fat Mantis HD.
Hmm. Curiouser and curiouser. What is up with my. Oh. There we go, and welcome to Rogue Planet. I am, of course, your host, the Fat Mantis HD. Welcome, and we are in for quite a treat tonight here. You're watching Rogue Planet, the premiere live stream of nerd reviews, information, and all sorts of fun shenanigans. You can catch us on Spotify, Green Room, YouTube, and of course Twitch. I hope you're all having a beautiful and wonderful evening here on this hump day, aka known as Wednesday. I'm about to bring my guest up right now, and it is none other than Courtney Monroe from the Saber Light Knights. Now, you've probably heard him. You know, he's come on my channel a couple of times. He's kind of a rapscallion here and there, but he's been asking for this for so long. He's been asking for finally for us to discuss something that is near and dear to his heart. It is Castlevania. Castlevania, primarily the anime series, but we're going to talk about all things Castlevania. Now, beyond just that, I think we have to have a general anime talk. I think it's just time to do a general anime talk. So we're going to do this right now. Bringing him up right now.
Yeah.
Hello, Courtney Monroe. How are you tonight, my friend?
I'm great. Look at that beautiful avatar with the red line going down the middle there. That's pretty fly, I must admit. Yeah.
I didn't realize you were going to do no cams tonight, which is totally fine. I would have put an icon to represent you, you know?
I swear to everyone and to you that the next time we do anything voice related, video call related, I will have my stuff in order. I give you guys my solemn oath. I swear.
It is all right because I see the work that you do over at Saberlight Knights. You are their king. You are their manager. You're their headmaster. You teach them all sorts of stuff. You're Yoda and Professor X, and basically a daycare provider, all rolled into one. So if you don't have like a webcam, we can forgive this one, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I got all this fly stuff. It's the high time I get it all taken care of. So next time, guys, I swear.
And I'm loving this chat right now. Lowe says, "Oh, sexy mantis whistles, love it." Hello, Rogue Radio. Welcome in. So why don't you tell everyone knows what I'm babbling about in terms of this Saberlight Knight stuff? Could you please tell everyone out there what am I talking about? What do you do?
Yes,
us in the nerd view.
absolutely. Okay, so Saber Light Knights. So if you haven't put it together by the name or you don't already know, what that essentially is it is a blended style of swordsmanship, fencing, martial arts. There's even a little bit of empty hand stuff, all combined together, and then taught with lightsabers.
Wait, empty hand?
Yeah, like there some empty hand.
Wait, you're teaching some lightsaber Star Wars nerds to fight, to beat people up with their fists.
So it's primarily weapons based, but a little bit of the empty hand stuff does come into play because you can't really have one without the other. Not completely anyway.
Wait, so this is tournament style, correct?
Yeah, so we do fight in tournaments.
But I mean, I don't understand. They're clashing, right, with their lightsabers.
Yes.
The rules are in, and suddenly, which is fine because it probably happens in real lightsaber fights. Suddenly, somebody throws a jab, gives someone a bloody nose, and then they keep fighting.
So we'll have to level up to that. But the idea is that some of the empty hand training techniques work well with the weapon style. So you kind of have the yin and the yang there, the balance, if that makes sense.
Yo, and I'm all about the yin and the yang, my friend.
Hey, look, man, it's how we were trained, man. It's how we were brought up, you know.
Yo, Rogue Radio says, "Holy crap, that's amazing."
Oh, thank you.
What are they made of?
So the lightsabers, yes. So the handles are typically aircraft grade aluminum. So they're legitimate metal, handles. The blades are typically made of a polycarbonate blend. It is not unlike what cops use for like riot shields and police batons. So these things are pretty hardcore. They can come in varying grades of hardness. You can back over some of them with a car, and then they might have a little chip in them. So they're legit weapons, and they do the job. They do them well.
So I could bludgeon somebody within an inch of their life with one.
You surely could, absolutely,
This,
with
this isn't
either
like my
end.
nephew's whacking me with a lightsaber that they got from Kmart.
Exactly. And now technology has advanced to the point now that a lot of the installations, the innards of the Saber, so to speak,
Yeah.
they have all these like sensors and flickering LEDs and speakers. They're like really high tech now, even better than what Disney makes. So it just depends on your flavor.
Yo, that is freaking amazing. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that. I'm glad the audience seems to be digging it as well.
Oh,
This is why I think you're a true nerd, and this is why I mean
yeah.
that in the most loving way possible.
Hey, absolutely.
That's why your opinion is so important. We need everyone from every walk of nerddom,
Sure.
to talk about this.
Absolutely.
Plus, you did great on our the Batman episode. The Batman.
Yeah, that was a night of passion, a night of feelings, and those feelings were expressed, and it was great, man. It was a good time.
And then Lo says, it'd be worth beating someone to death with one of those just for the headline.
I mean,
That's the types of shenanigans you're gonna get here on Rogue Planet. So this is fascinating. But so I do this once a month. I do an episode of Rogue Planet where it's all anime. I call it the Anime Arsenal.
Yep.
Where we focus on just one anime. And today we're going to be doing Castlevania, which this is kind of a controversial one.
Oh yeah, it definitely can be, and I know why you're saying that as well.
And we're going to discuss that. Oh, we're really going to get into that.
Oh yes, we are. Yes, we are. Even calling it an anime could rile some people up in certain scenes, but whatever.
Okay, should we start with that, or should we start with its unlikely origins as a franchise?
So here's the deal. I say we start with that, and then we go into the origins.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the question. There's a constant debate. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite YouTubers, I believe it's Screen Crutch, Ryan
Yes.
Airy, the other day was making some sort of comment. I forget what he was talking about. He might have been talking about Avatar the Airbender.
Right.
And it wasn't the main series of his thing. He just kind of mentioned it. And then he says, well, which they say in anime, which we can't call it an anime because it's not Japanese. And I said, I love and respect you, bro, but you're wrong. Okay. And so this, of course, the nerds are going to flip out. But in your opinion, is that why people think that Castlevania can't be an anime?
Oh, that is exactly why I think people say that Castlevania is not an anime. And I was actually going to bring up Avatar as well, because they say the same thing about that. However, I have found that depending on the quality of said product, people will either accept it as an anime or think it's trash.
Oh,
okay.
It's like rap music.
Yeah.
Basically, white people can't rap unless they're really good, and then like Eminem's in the club, and that's
and
it.
then they're accepted, like Iggy Azalea, like on one side, and you got like Eminem on the other, right?
Iggy, get out.
Exactly. And I was
much love to you.
And I was in the Iggy Get Out crowd too, and I'm not scared.
I will forever be in. I don't think I've ever heard a track, but I think we are digressing. But I love that we're here on Rogue Planet. We brought up Iggy Azalea.
Oh, of course.
So the question is, so you think it's an anime or you do not?
Yes, I'm going to call it an anime. Fight me.
Okay, yeah,
fight me in the chat, and I guarantee I'll beat you. So fight.
Yeah, I also chat. I want to see what you guys are thinking about it. I'm sure everyone has like an opinion on this, but what is an anime? What is considered an anime, and what is it? So here's what it is. Everybody believes that it's because it's not Japanese. So first, let's talk about what is an anime. So anime literally means just cartoon in Japanese.
Yep.
It is the Japaneseification of the word animation. Okay? Right? We all know that. So in terms of just language uses, a Japanese person would look at something like name an American cartoon, please. I'm blanking.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Dexter's Laboratory, and a Japanese person would say anime. right?
Right.
Now, Japanese products, cartoons, get imported around the world, and the Japanese have a style of drawing called manga.
Hmm.
And anime, that's what greatly influences their cartoons.
Right.
And so when it came here, they were calling it anime, and people thought, took it to mean Japanese animation, right?
Yep.
But here's where I do the swing, man, my fatal blow. Do you know what the impressionist age of painting is?
No.
Well, there was a time period.
Yes.
Like it was like in the early 1900s.
Mhm.
That was impressionist. That was when everyone was doing impressionists.
Right.
It's an era and a style. Now, if I were to paint an impressionist painting, is it not impressionist because I live in 2020?
Oh, I hear what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
And so my ultimate belief is that it is a style. It has a genre. It's almost like a noir
Mhm.
or something like that. That there's certain things like I don't want to say tropes, but I want to say traditions and things and types of storytelling that go into it, and that includes the art style.
That's
That's
right.
what I believe. And I don't care if you're from the desert or you're from Japan. I don't care if you were a samurai, my man, or
Yeah, that's right.
if you're the whitest person that ever lived, whoever that is. Um, that's like Ethan Klein or something.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, if you're making it and you do it in that style, then it is therefore an anime. That's just how Fat Mantis feels about it.
I love that. That is pretty bulletproof in my opinion. I mean, the exposition there was pitch perfect, sir. Very well done. I agree.
Rogue Radio says I'm picky with my anime. It has to be really good animation for me to pay attention. Okay. The Hold Up TV says, Shaolin, you're a real one. You got my respect for life.
Oh man, look, I got your back, man. If you're a friend, I got you 100%, and that means I got you, bro. So no worries, my man.
That's what's up. That is what's up. Okay, so so you like my definition? You feel like we're safe to call it an anime?
Perfect. That's where I'm at. 100%.
I want to give a shout out to Lainey O over in Green Room, who's coming by, even though we know she has work to do. But thank you for coming to the stream. And everybody else, such as Rogue Radio, Hannah Banana HD, Gray Winthrop, Hold Up TV, and many more.
Yes, sir. Hey,
okay,
everyone.
so we've got the awkwardness out. We both say it's an anime.
We do. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about where we first discovered this thing called Castlevania.
Absolutely. So let me start from the tippy top. Okay. So my personal first experience with Castlevania was actually the very first game on Nintendo, I believe.
Nintendo, yes.
Yes. Now, when I got to the game, it was significantly old. Or not maybe significantly. It came out in 1986, a few months before I was born. So the game is older than me.
You know what's actually funny about that?
What's that?
That would mean that it's literally first generation.
Yep.
That's the first series of games.
Mm-hmm.
We're 85 and there were a couple of months in 85, but most of them were 86.
That's right.
That we consider original Nintendo games. We're talking Excite Bike. We're talking Hogan's Alley.
Paperboy.
Oh my God, Paperboy. All I get is papers, boy.
Yeah. Oh, that was kind of smooth right there.
Yo, I took that from Atlanta.
Oh, I got you.
You know, Atlanta, in Atlanta, the rapper that Donald Glover works for is Paperboy.
that was clean though. That was clean.
So a little plagiarism right there. Don't sue me, guys. But so that was original Nintendo. That was like the real deal, original Nintendo, and it was called Castlevania. Okay, so tell me about it. Tell me your feeling.
So Castlevania, for those who are uninitiated, as Bane would say, Castlevania
into the night, which into the darkness, which is actually so appropriate for the show. Right?
Super appropriate. So Castlevania is essentially the story of Dracula, the vampire, and the Belmont clan, which are the protagonists of the story, and their never-ending quest to put an end to Dracula and his forces of darkness. That's the premise. The first one was apparently inspired by the Universal monsters. You can see it in the game. Like you see Frankenstein and
you do
Black
Frankenstein,
Lagoon Creature and like Death and Dracula, that sort of thing.
Mummies. No, I got to point out something. What was
Yes.
really stylish about the game is it was a platformer, and for those who don't know, that's side-scrolling. Back in the day, all platformers were side-scrolling. Nowadays, a platformer is just like an adventure game.
Mhm.
But like back in then, it was a side-scrolling platformer where that's how it was different from any other game where people had guns or knives or something.
Mhm.
Your main weapon was a whip.
That's right. That's right.
You were whipping zombies' heads off, swinging off of stuff,
That's right.
killing things with whips. But of course, you could throw stakes and there's all sorts of stuff.
You could throw crosses and stakes and holy water. And yeah, the literal point of the game was to platform your way through Dracula's castle, known as Castlevania, which is where the name comes from, to make your way to his throne room to put an end to Dracula. So that is the premise of the
Yes.
original.
And I got to say, we're going to get back to it. But when we get to the anime talk, I got to say, I really liked what I believe is the in-house reason why it's called Castlevania.
Oh, I would love to hear that actually.
So here's what it is. A lot of video games their names come from a bad translation of
Yes.
Japanese into English,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So in the anime, the castle itself, this is what's so interesting, can teleport and bears its own population of people, like it's its own town or city.
Yeah.
So it's like being like it's a castle, but it's really a fucking town.
A
And that's what
town
we
at
call
the
it,
same time.
Castlevania, and it's named like a place.
Exactly. So I actually love that. And I think they might actually run with that. That is super cool. I didn't
That's
think
what
about that.
that's what I
Yeah.
thought was implied, although they never say it
Yeah.
flat out, right?
So I bet you with the next series, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, it will be called Castlevania. I'm pretty sure it will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the original game starred Simon Belmont. Simon was the first official member of the Belmont clan we were introduced to. He was pretty much a ripoff of Conan the Barbarian. You can look at him and tell.
This is
He
what
had
would
like the
confuse.
loincloths
Oh
and the
my God.
tiara and all that stuff. Yeah.
This is what confused me as a kid. So I too got into the thing late. I got into the scene late, and there were already several games out.
Yep.
And so when I was playing them, they kept changing. And so one would be like the one I'm playing, I'm like, he has no shirt. He's in a loincloth. He's like some dude with a whip going around like it's some caveman fighting vampires. And then
Yeah.
the next one, I'm like, this guy's just in a fur. This other dude's just like a mountain climber.
Yeah.
One looks like a pirate.
Yeah, right.
It was just crazy. It was like, and they were all named Simon Belmont, right?
Yeah. So they rebooted and they swapped out the character. They did some remakes and stuff back then to kind of modernize it as the times went along. But as the series progressed, you get into Castlevania 2, you get into Castlevania 3, where you're introduced to Trevor Belmont. You find out that the Belmonts, Simon Belmont, is a member of a clan, and this clan, this family's mission is to crush the forces of darkness. And throughout time, they raise their kids and they teach them how to be monster hunters. And you got Simon Belmont, Trevor Belmont, who else? Julius Belmont and Richter Belmont, all these different guys. Belmont.
Yes, and so that whole Belmont name is a thing. And like another thing is that what I think it was is like either Simon was the middle name of all these guys, or like their first name was it, but they usually went by their middle name, right? So they're all Simon Belmont technically. But I like that. I love that. In fact,
Yeah.
but that was the game, man. That was the freaking game.
Sure was, man.
So how do you adapt that into an anime? Now we're here. And for some reason, obviously, a Japanese company, video game company, decides to make like Richter Belmont. There's a bunch of others, but decides to make an anime through an American animation studio.
Yeah.
Which you know what I think, that in my opinion, that triples down that to a Japanese person, they really don't care where anime is made. That's a
They're not
distinction.
elitists like us.
You know what it is? There aren't actually. Here's what it is. There are what we might consider weebs in Japan, but only we term weeb. That's an American concept where there's an anime snob.
Yeah, right.
right? And so they're like, "What? We hired Americans." And then there's some weeb out there being like, "You don't know anything about anime," and they're like, "Motherfucker, I make them for a
I'll
living.
make it, bitch.
I make them. I'm the one who decides what gets made.
Yeah.
How do I not know what an anime is?"
Hey man, the power of the weeaboos knows no bounds. It even infests the culture from which it comes from, you know.
Oh, Public says, "I love this layout. Thank you so much. I worked so hard on it, Public.
Yeah.
Thank you so much." Rogue Radio says, "I just checked out a video with a clip of Castlevania. The animation looks amazing. I'll have to check it out." You absolutely should. This anime is where it's at.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to be honest, I was kind of a non-believer.
Sure.
Because I'm a snob in a different sense in terms of
Plot,
anime
story.
No, what it is I'm very particular with my anime, and I feel
got you.
so many people recommend anime, and I only feel like there's a smidge of them that are worth a damn.
I am exactly like you, my good sir. There aren't many that I am super into, but the ones that I love are the ones that I love, and this is in fact one of them. So
I ended up loving this, and I gotta say, here's what it is. I think the first season is good.
Yeah.
But after that, it gets even better. It gets even better. Like I don't even think the vampire generals are introduced in season 1.
They are not.
I don't think they are.
So here's the deal. Do you want to start season by season? Do you want to go season by season?
Yes, I do.
All right, cool. So season 1. Season 1 is about 4 episodes, I think. It's not long at all. Each episode is like 30-ish minutes, something like that. And from what I understand, the first season was quite literally Netflix and this production company and the writers putting their toes into the water and kind of testing how it went over.
Absolutely.
Went over quite well. And then the turnaround for season 2 was actually very fast. I remember it was within a year, maybe slightly more than a year. It's pretty quick. But anyway, yeah. So season 1 kind of serves as a story of Dracula a little bit. At least in the beginning.
You know what it is? It's so weird because I feel like he doesn't really get interesting until his clan. It's so funny, clan versus clan, right? Yeah. His clan is really introduced, and then drama is happening. And so, his first season, they try to really humanize him by making him Lisa's lover, right? And he's like, "I love so deeply." But
are we doing spoilers, by the way?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I mean, how do we do? How do we not?
Gotcha. All right, spoiler warning, everyone.
Spoiler warning. We're putting our faces right into Castlevania and going. So the thing is, they try to make him deep, but he's actually one-dimensional, in my opinion.
You think so?
Until you know what it is, I really hate the cliche that someone is deep just because they can love.
Okay.
Movies, when they don't know how to make somebody deep, they're like, but he has his girlfriend that he really loves. And they're like, oh, okay.
So it is cliched. I'll give you that. I personally enjoyed Dracula, at least in season 1, because he was so damn charismatic.
Oh, yes.
I mean, like the accent and the way he spoke. And then so we're introduced to him. Okay. So we're following a blonde lady named Lisa, who is a doctor. And she is on a quest to find ways to better the world, essentially. So she finds her way to Castlevania, to Dracula's castle. She kind of makes her way in, and then we're introduced to Dracula. And he's doing his vampire thing, like he's sniffing on her neck and being creepy, like vampires typically are. But the best part is that she literally tells him off, like, "You're being incredibly rude. You're smelling on my neck. Can you have some manners?" And he just kind of looks at her like, "Is this bitch serious?" And they start talking, and then you could see the chemistry there with the two, right? And like you said, it was a quick turnaround, but then they superimposed that onto the next scene, which is quite literally her being burned at the stake.
Yeah, and so I mean, you know what's good? This is about medieval Europe. So obviously, any story about medieval Europe, they do not cast Christians in a good light.
They do not. That was another thing I was going to say here. I don't know if the writers have a thing against Christianity or not, but they were going in
It
many
kept
aspects
coming up too, right? It kept coming up.
throughout the seasons
How
too.
corrupt the clergy is, how evil they
Yes.
are,
Yes.
how scared of knowledge and science they are.
Oh my gosh, they were
Oh
like
my god!
barbarians, man. It was
Uh,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Like Dracula was even saying these people are like animals,
that's
and I'm
what
the vampire. You know?
that's the deepest thing I think that came out of the whole Dracula thing.
Yeah.
That he loses Lisa because the church are a-holes, right? And
Yeah.
then he's like, "You pieces of garbage
Yeah.
do not deserve to live."
And the thing, so when Alucard, Dracula and Lisa's son, his name is Adrian, but he goes by Alucard. So Alucard confronts Dracula after the death of Lisa because Dracula swears vengeance on humanity. And he asks him, or he tells him, he's like, hey, I'll help you get the people that did this, but if you're going to declare war on humanity, I'm going to have to stop you there. And he's like, no, you know, any one of them could have stood up and said no, but they all sat there and laughed and decided it was funny to torture and burn a woman alive. So they
Right,
all got to go.
right. By the way, Lowe, this was a comment when we were talking about the games. Lowe says stories and side scrollers were often just background noise to justify the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. The programmers would find a dynamic, like they found a mechanic that they could do with an 8-bit system, and then they're like, put a vampire slaying game over it, like a skin over it, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah. So but yeah, no, so humanity is garbage. And so Dracula doesn't just want to kill the townspeople or the clergy. He wants to just end all of humanity.
Yeah. And it should be said that he was pretty savage before he met Lisa. But like you said, Mantis, cliched or not, you know, their love kind of turned him to the light. And this was the catalyst that quite literally turned him back. Now, here's the savage part. So this man, after they burn his wife alive, he does like some vampire sorcery and appears in the flames and tells them, y'all fools got 1 year and all of you are gonna die.
That's
right?
That's the part of the story I didn't get. However, this is almost like a fable.
Yeah.
But I would feel like, just do it now, bro.
So the reason why was because he had to amass his army. He had to
I
use
didn't
that
get
year.
I didn't gather that.
Yeah, you had to get his night
Okay.
creatures and you had to get all the stuff in order. And then a year to the date, he unleashes hell, and it is violent, people.
And
it is violent.
And I gotta say, I love him. You know why? Because I'm a bitter, vengeful man, and he's so bitter and so vengeful. It is unrealistic, but like not unrealistic. But I'm like, I see myself in him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like he
Kathy,
I mean, guts flying, you see intestines fly and eyeballs flying out. It is insane, people.
Yeah, Kathy, for today, welcome in. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the 12 people in YouTube and the
nice.
4 people over in Green Room. Thank you so much for coming through. Much love. I'm here with Courtney Monroe, otherwise known as the Shaolin Ice Boxer, and we're talking about the anime Castlevania, which you can get on Netflix, which was surprisingly, it didn't surprise me that it was good. It surprised me that it was amazing.
It was amazing.
I would describe it as amazing.
Yeah.
There's just some crazy stuff that happened. So, but one of the things that they showed, I don't remember if it was in first season or second season, but there's a flashback of Dracula destroying a town.
That was season 2. Yeah,
and it was just bloody as hell.
It was, dude. It was.
And
insane.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like he slashed a dude's neck with his fingernails and then just like guzzles him like a Stone Cold Steve Austin with a beer. You know, it's just like the craziest thing, man. It's just so violent, dude. So violent.
Matt Cat, welcome to the stream over on YouTube. So I'm here with Courtney Monroe. Like I was saying, we're talking about Castlevania the Anime over on Netflix.
So
once a month, I dedicate one episode of my lives to just talking about one particular anime.
Yeah.
You know.
So to quickly summarize season 1, we were introduced to Trevor Belmont, who is one of the protagonists, like we mentioned, one of the members of the Belmont clan. He does appear to be the last living Belmont. So we're introduced to him. He's a stinky, lazy, drunk,
But he can.
bum.
Uh, it,
You know,
it's funny that like, okay, so in the beginning he gets into a bar fight
yeah,
and he has trouble with these bar idiots. But later on, when he's fighting vampires, he's basically the White Blade.
dude. Oh
Like,
my,
there's a part where he does like a kick and he kicks a dagger into the dude's head.
the eyes of a cyclops.
And
Yes,
I
yeah,
thought about it. I was like, and you had trouble with a drunk dude at a bar like a couple episodes ago?
yeah. So he is definitely a beast, but they do him not really a lot of favors with his introduction. I guess if I look back at it, maybe they want to show his progression from being a punk to realizing his family's fate,
Like
destiny.
maybe when he has something to fight for, he's invincible. But
Yeah, that
before
sort of
that,
thing.
when he was a
Yeah.
drunk, he was pathetic.
Right, right. So, and with that, we're introduced to Cypher, who is a magician. So she does magic and she throw fireballs and ice and all
Oh,
that
that's
stuff.
another
So,
thing I got to say. What I really liked about, which I
yes.
was not expecting it for, is the story plays like a role playing game,
Hmm. Yep.
and none of the games are like that. Even though you'd think hunting vampires in medieval times shouldn't surprise you that RPG comes to mind.
Yeah.
But the games are never like that. But I do like that the Belmont of the story gets his own little traveling party, and each have their own skills.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That was cool. That was very
Yeah. It was super cool. So this season of Castlevania is actually based on Castlevania 3.
no.
I'm trying to remember what it's called, Curse of Darkness or something like that. But it's where we're introduced to Trevor, and when you go through the story, you meet Cypher, you meet Alucard, you meet another guy named.
Oh, they're
Grant.
actually in the video games.
So they're in the, and you can switch. But this was NES time, so this was super old and archaic by
Well,
this time.
NES had that ability to switch
Yep.
characters.
Yep, you could switch between Trevor, Cypher, Alucard, or the guy Grant, who they gender bent in season 4. By the way, we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Okay.
So the end season 1, at the very end, we're introduced to Alucard, fully, who I said, of course, was Dracula's and Lisa's son.
So I gotta ask this about Alucard, and I don't know if
Yeah.
you know the legends or whatever.
Sure.
But where did this legend that Dracula has a son whose name is Alucard? Guys, did you see what he did there? If you didn't, it's Dracula backwards, where he has a son who's like probably destined to hate him or fight him. And so that I saw that in Helsing. There's an Alucard in Helsing.
Yep, there is. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen Alucards in other places.
So I have too, and not just in Helsing or in Castlevania. Not really ringing a bell, but it is this kind of trope where Alucard's the good guy.
His
'Cause
son
it's the
wants to do
mirror
good.
Dracula, that sort of thing. But yeah, like Trevor and Alucard have a pretty awesome fight. It's probably the best one in season 1. And then all three of them at the end, you find out he's testing Trevor to see if he can handle Dracula. So they all get on one accord, and season 1 ends with them going out to put an end to Dracula. So what'd you think of season 1?
I really liked it. I didn't like it later on when I watched other seasons. I was like, oh, wait a minute, now this is where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Matt asked, I'm not sure if anyone asked this already, but do you have to have played the games to enjoy the anime or vice versa? You absolutely don't.
Sure
and
don't.
So to me, the games are just like a vague, like fever dream I had when I was a child. Like I kind of remember a dude with the whip, like fighting a vampire or a monster here, and like I couldn't tell you any of the lore. I didn't retain any of the lore, probably because, like we said, each one of the games just totally differed in story.
Yep.
The concept was you fight monsters, you have a whip. Start game.
It's essentially like any Mario or Sonic game where the villain is the same. It's just either the same or a new Belmont with the vampire killer, which is the name of the whip, fighting their way to Dracula, and it's just how it is with every game. So
no, I did. Like I said, I give definitely a hearty thumbs up to 1, but I'm saying like I more lovingly like the other ones, particularly because season 2 introduces my favorite character.
Who is this? I have to know.
That is Camilla.
Oh man,
Lady Camilla,
strong women that can kill you, don't you?
Yes, as we all know, the Fat Mantis loves strong women who can kill me, and she's gonna kill everybody.
Yes.
And so she's a vampire, and she's worse. She's worse in terms of like, here's what it is. She's worse than Dracula because Dracula at least wants to kill people.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, I want to enslave them and make them cattle.
Yup. I
I'm
want to
like,
treat
I
them like
think that may be
cattle.
worse.
Yeah.
It's way
Dude,
more.
my favorite, so I love Carmilla for many reasons. To give a quick backstory, so between season 1 and season 2, we find out Dracula is amassing a court of generals that he's going to use to launch his attack on humanity. And each of these vampires comes from different parts of the world. I'm not sure where she's from, but she's a member of the court. One of the first things she does when she arrives at his castle is to start questioning like his motives, right? And Dracula is just like king shit. Like all the other vampires know not to step to this dude because he'll put you down in an instant. She immediately starts like, wait, you fell in love with a human. Why are we
Right,
doing all this
yes.
for a human? And like when she starts talking, everyone gets quiet and turns around like, oh shit, does she not know who she's talking to? And Dracula gets up like, in my room now. Put your, he put you in your place. You know what I mean? And you kind of get that vibe that she has ulterior motives. Like she's there to help, but maybe she's there for something else. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like maybe she wants the throne. That sort of shit.
Yeah. And she's a badass. Yeah. Basically, that's where we got in Star Wars. Get the idea that Boba Fett is a badass. Everyone names reasons why they think Boba Fett or young Boba Fett is a badass, right? Because old man Boba Fett ain't shit. but as we saw in Disney Plus, but like the real reason I think you're all got intimidated by Boba Fett is in the scenes on Cloud City. He's the only person in the history of Star Wars to talk firmly and give straight talk to Darth Vader. They're like, they're gonna carbonite him, and he goes, he's no good to me dead. No officer would ever speak to Darth Vader like
no, not at all.
You know what I'm
not
saying?
at all. Yeah. Right.
And stuff like that. And so you're like, he must be a badass, and Vader must respect him. And so that's kind of like what happened here.
That's exactly it.
Yep. Such a badass, and he doesn't immediately scold her exactly. Like he kind of puts up with her, but she's being a total biatch.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yep. Yeah. 100%, man. And yeah, so going back to Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard, they're kind of making their way across Wallachia. I think Wallachia is actually or at least was a real place in Romania, I think.
Oh, anyway, are you serious?
I believe so. Don't quote me on that.
Totally sounds like a fake country.
Yeah,
Wallachia.
It may or may not be. We may have to Google it so I don't sound like an idiot.
So someone's like, oh, this is my cousin. He's not from around here. Where's he from? Wallachia.
Wallachia.
I mean, like, stop messing with me.
So Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard, our trio, are making their way across the country to Dracula.
And this is our crew, just to let you guys know. This ends up being the crew of the show.
The three heroes.
This is our friend, our friends that we love so much.
Yeah. And they're fucking shit up, to be quite frank. And one of my favorite scenes from the season happens when Nat gets back to Dracula, and the name Belmont is dropped, and like everyone in the room like shits their pants almost immediately because they thought all the Belmonts were gone, and they hear one's still alive, and they're like, "Uh-oh, we have a problem." They also learn that Alucard's there, and that also starts a conflict.
Oh yeah, and that caused a lot of drama throughout the series. The fact that his own son, and actually, I will say, I don't know if you see it as a trope in anime or just like whatever, but I think it was done well. How there's multiple times where Alucard laments about the idea that he's going to have to kill his dad,
which I love.
I love
that he
that.
isn't
I
like
absolutely
a
love that.
soulless machine. Like I have to kill him and do right,
And a trope of anime is our characters being what the reluctant heroes because they have to lament on the horrible things they have to do. They're like,
exactly.
I don't know if I can do it, and you hear them in their headspace.
Yep,
they're sitting on a rock looking at a stream, being like, I don't know if I can get the final Pokemon. So, in this case, this was done well, and I liked it, and it was done better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I 1000% agree. Alucard was very well done. He's one of the best characters.
And so we don't have to go full spoilers because I'm not sure. There's some super twist that happened in season 4. Like I said, I'm so glad you twisted my arm into watching season 4.
Oh yeah,
because when twists happen, I was like, holy cow. There's one character who is not who it seems, and when it's revealed, my mind was literally blown.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Man. Absolutely. what are your thoughts on season 2? Like, what are your thoughts?
Oh well,
Thumbs up,
so
thumbs
yo, I
down.
do. I like season 2. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I really do like season 2.
Hmm.
I also like they got weapon upgrades. Like he finds that's when he finds the crazy whip, like the chain whip,
The Morning Star.
the
Yep.
Morning Star. That was
Yeah.
awesome. It
Yeah.
was really good. I loved, like I said, when the generals come in and you actually see how vampires interact with each other. It's great. And so there becomes a problem in the series for me.
Hmm.
So there, spoiler alert. No, it's not a huge one. 2 of the generals are humans.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so there is a question throughout the series whether they're redeemable or whether they're going to come back or they're going to do their thing. The problem is the fact that they even fought one day for Dracula makes me hate them
Oh.
and makes them not accessible as heroes. And one of them, they're really edging to be like, let's try to turn this guy into a redemption story. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And so like one of their thought processes was like, well, he's going to win anyway. So maybe I can convince him into making us cattle slaves.
Yeah, self-defeatist attitude, huh?
Beta. I'm not rooting for no betas. Okay.
You don't like weakness, my good sir.
No, I don't. I like. Yo, he should die with his boots on if he's such a good warrior.
Ooh, I agree. I do agree.
And-
Super quick 1-minute background on Hector and Isaac, which is who Mantis is talking about.
Mhm.
So Hector and Isaac are both the stars of their own Castlevania game. It takes place after Castlevania 3, where Hector is the main character and hero, and Isaac ends up being the villain. The show kind of twists their origins and plays with their stories, but essentially they both served under Dracula. Hector went good, becomes the hero. Isaac remains the villain, and Dracula ends up resurrecting through Hector or Isaac's body. They don't go into that in the anime though.
Right.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a crazy ride, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I really do love it. Also, yo, I gotta say this. Here's another thing I really enjoyed about the series. There was some unexpected dark stuff that it was so dark. I was like, is this a cartoon?
So you know what? Let's get into that because primarily that happened in season 3.
Yes.
Now,
so one particularly the season 3 thing I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, you go. I'll let you talk.
Yeah. Oh no. So look, season 3, in my opinion, was actually the weakest for me, and I'll tell you why. Because it felt like they were trying to put in filler to maybe prolong the series a little bit to get us to the conclusion. I thought 3 was going to be the end. I didn't know we were going to get 4.
You're right. You know what it is? They were buying for time, and they had
Yep.
them going to weird places and kind of slowing down the pace of it, stopping and having these side stories. Like they stop in a town and not as all as it seems.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's the war? Aren't you supposed to be fighting war right now?
Exactly. At Alucard's side story specifically, I hated. And in fact, think about this: if Alucard was not in season 3 at all, and it just went from season 2 to season 4 with Alucard, nothing would have changed. It would have been the same thing. It was the most pointless quest, the most pointless thing I've seen in a while. That kind of dropped it a little bit for me.
I do hate that when they when a character's journey is for naught at a certain point.
Exactly.
Like you said, you could jump those episodes and it wouldn't matter.
It would not matter.
Well, then why was I watching it? Because filler is bad writing. Filler is absolutely bad.
100%. And anime is notorious for that, by the way.
Yeah, because actually, this is what's very American about this series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Castlevania only has like 10 episodes a season,
right?
And so, like if you're looking at real anime for the most that I'm thinking of, they've got at least 30, sometimes even more. If Dragon Ball had like 60 episodes a season.
Like Naruto, man. Naruto had like 300 episodes before the whole thing was over. That kind of thing, you know.
Who is it? One Piece. One Piece is about to hit episode 1000.
I would never. I'm sorry, I can't do One Piece.
Think about how many animators fingers bled all over pages, and they're fingerless now because of all the drawing they had to do. And this is very American. We don't do it as bad as the British, but only having 10 episodes is like not a lot. But anime is notorious to having a lot of pieces, like a lot of chapters,
Yeah.
and them being on a lot of like side pieces and tangents and killing time. Demon Slayer just did that. I just binge watched. I did an anime arsenal a couple months ago of Demon Slayer, and I binge watched it all. And there were a bunch of like, what is this episode doing here?
Yep.
One.
So season 3 was essentially that, but the background plot, just to quickly summarize it, Alucard is in extreme depression state after the events of season 2, so he's confined to the castle. Trevor and Sypha continue their journey, and they come upon a town. It's like what Mantis says: not all is what it seems. There kind of seems to be a plot to resurrect Dracula in the background. So those two characters are kind of dealing with the fall.
Once again, taking longer than it should have.
Way longer. But some of the dark stuff Mantis was talking about happens in this season. And yeah, I don't know if I want to spoil it, but it's
don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. And also the way it's revealed what is going on.
Yeah.
I was like, this is I will say this, that was well done.
Yeah.
That was some dark, twisty, like I was like, whoa.
It wasn't a complete stinker at all. I'm not saying it was, but and, in my opinion, being a fan of the stuff, I kind of wanted to get to the meat.
Yes.
And I didn't really get that with 3.
Let's be real. When you say meat, you mean fighting.
Hey, so actually fighting, yes, but I wanted to see how they would realize some of the plots of the games. Because I'm a nerd for that shit. I know all about the timelines.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking and I'm like, what are you gonna give me? What are you gonna give me? So
like I said, I know Dracula. I know dude with the whip. Go. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even know Sypha was a real thing. I was like, he knew a mage. Does she actually in the game have mage-like powers?
She sure did. She could do the fire.
She could do ice blades and stuff.
Yep, she could. It was NES stuff, but
there is some really good anime fighting in this. Just as a review, I gotta say, particularly with the way she uses ice.
Yeah,
and she just pulls off. And let me tell you guys, the fighting, because they're fighting the undead, gets really bloody. Because it's like not an anime for kids. I guess in Japan this would be tame, but
yeah, and that's another thing. That's another thing. Season 3 introduced some pretty intense sex scenes, which I was not prepared for. I was prepared for the violence. But
yes.
When I started seeing, the thrusting and the nudity, I was like, whoa, okay. We're taking it here, huh? Okay.
It truly is adult anime. It
truly is.
It's unapologetic to that.
Yep.
It's totally crazy. Now, before we run out of time, because we're going to be closing out at 10 today.
Yeah.
We just had 1 hour, but I'm already having a huge amount of fun, my friend.
Sure,
thank you
absolutely
for coming on. But we got to talk about behind the scenes real quick, if you're all right with that. So, are you aware of what happened to the main writer of the series?
He got Me Too'd, right?
Yes, he got Me Too'd, apparently in his studio. So he's a big comic book dude. Warren Ellis is great. I love him. I've got a lot of comics written by him. He's written some of the greats. Apparently in his art studio, he was essentially telling young girls who wanted to be writers or artists that he was like, well, I'll give you a shot if you X, Y, and Z.
God.
And then their careers would go nowhere. And so it was reeled and all this stuff and all these things. And I don't know, you know who Kelly Sue DeConnick is?
Not until some of this stuff went down.
Right. So Kelly Sue DeConnick was not a victim. She was, she's responsible for the new age of Captain Marvel. She's a female feminist writer of comic books. However, she was a huge friend of Warren Ellis.
Yeah.
And so she had got some bad press because when it dropped, she didn't believe. This is like a feminist writer who, when it came down to it, people were like, are you hearing what women's saying? And she's like, whatever. They're just pissed that they weren't chosen for making it.
Yikes.
And it became this thing where like, and then so later on, when it really came out, the true proof, and it was orgy of proof, she had to like renege and be like, I'm sorry. He was my friend for years. I didn't think that he was a creep.
Yeah.
So that means that this series is tanked. And actually, I'm going to say this is also not very Japanese of them, because in Japan, if that would happen, they'd ignore the Me Tooing, right?
They would.
No offense, Japanese people, we love you. But another thing is that they would just get a different writer.
Uh, so they absolutely would. And when that news came out, I was gutted. For multiple reasons, of course. But with the news that season 4 was the end of this series of Castlevania,
Mhm.
we did get news that a spinoff was confirmed.
Right.
And this spinoff will star another member of the Belmont clan a few hundred years later down the line named Richter. Richter
Yes,
Belmont.
it's Richter Belmont during the French Revolution, and he's gonna be their kid, right? Oh,
So
spoiler! Obviously, we said spoilers, but obviously, spoiler. Yes, the main female and Trevor get together.
yeah, so
I think she's even knocked up at the end, right?
she is. Yeah, you
Yeah.
find out that she is in fact pregnant, and yeah, Richter will be a descendant of Trevor. And really quickly, they could have picked any other Belmont, but they picked Richter because Alucard has a very significant role in Richter's games. So I think this
Oh,
is their
which
way of
games for
bringing
Richter's?
Alucard back. So Richter was in Rondo of Blood. This was the PlayStation era, so this was a lot more modern. So Richter was in Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, which
Symphony of the Night.
Symphony
That
of the
sounds like
Night,
the
yeah.
coolest game ever written.
And that was the game Alucard starred in. So he had his own game when Alucard was the hero. So they're gonna bring Alucard back into those, I'm sure.
Yeah, right, because he's eternal.
Yep.
I mean, it's a good thing. And actually, I got to say, the only thing I didn't really like about Trevor, and this is all superficial, I didn't
Sure.
like his voice actor. And I'm
didn't?
not even saying he's a bad actor. I'm saying I just didn't like the sound of his voice.
You really? I loved it. You didn't like his voice?
It was too, I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? I guess you don't know what I'm talking about, right?
No, look, all I got from it was testosterone and European accent, man. That's all I got from it.
You know what? It's European accent. That's what it is. I like my heroes American.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got
Talking
you.
like they're from Ohio and shit.
I do have to say on that note, the voice acting in this show, aside from Mantis's criticism of Trevor, was A1.
Yeah,
It
and like
was
I said,
beautiful.
I'm being a hater right now, but like I was saying, it is not his acting. He does fine acting. It's the sound of his voice that was irritating me. Everyone's like, What are you doing, Mantis? What are you doing?" But yo, do you have any final thoughts? Because unfortunately, we got to end this bad boy.
Yeah,
It's time
man,
to
not at all. Yeah, so season 4, beautiful, whole series together. It came together fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. If you're into anime, even if you're not, you should definitely give Castlevania a watch. You will not regret it.
Absolutely. That's what I like to hear. Before you head out, do you want to give a shout out? Tell people where they can find you, anything like that? Shout outs, plugs.
Yeah. So if you want to connect with me personally, you can find me on Instagram, Shaolin Iceboxer, all one word. Follow me, I'll follow you. And then on the
Follow
other
for
side,
follow.
follow.
He's not a loser. He's a nice guy. He's not a loser.
I promise.
Losers say follow for follow, right?
Oh yeah. No. It's all about the love. That's what it's about. And it's Saber Light Nights. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all of that. You can find us all over the place.
Yo, Matt says, well, I've never seen the show, but this was a fun chat. So it looks like Matt is sold. I think Matt, when he gets the time, is going to check it out.
Watch it, Matt. I promise you'll love it.
Yo, guys, this is Courtney Monroe, Saber Light Nights. Look him up. He's in the Discord. He's in the Discord. He's got his own Discord, and you can also find Saber Light Nights on Facebook, right?
That's right. All over the
Tournaments,
place.
combat, all sorts of fun stuff.
Classes, right? All of that good stuff. Shenanigans. It's a good time.
Shenanigans. And of course, this is the Fat Mantis HD signing off for Rogue Planet here on Wednesday. We just saw our anime arsenal. I hope you all had fun. So that is we are both highly recommending the anime Castlevania. Please stay tuned for more Rogue Planet every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry we went a little late tonight. It's all good. But also, you can always catch me. I do live streams every weekday morning at 11:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, Green Room, and Pokecha. Don't ask me what that app is. I'm not even sure what that is. I just hit play.
Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon. It just happens. Lady says, can't wait to check it out, fam. Rogue Radio says, hey now, never mind. Ohio sucks. You say so. But anyway, yo, guys, live the dream. Remember to spay and neuter your cats. And until next time, ciao for now.
Peace.
Peace.